What's up, everybody? I'm Mckenty. This is my second channel, and this is your home for my Twitch highlights and my podcast. So if you like this and you want to see more of that and you want to join the live streams, there's a link to that in the description of this video. And with that out of the way, let's talk about one of my favorite subjects, which is how much people dislike me. So I was just poking around my YouTube analytics, as I like to do from time to time, and I thought it might be fun to take a look at my most hated videos as objectively measured by how many dislikes they have. Now, I've made a lot of videos that piss people off over the years, that upset people, but what does the data say? We'll take a look at what those videos are, and I'll give you my thoughts on these. Like, is this a video that I regret? Should I have put it differently? Am I okay with the hate? Let's just sort of look at my most hated videos and see what we think. First up, with 1,163 dislikes, we have Trap Metal and the Future of Metal, which is from May of 2021. I actually really liked this video quite a bit. The premise of this video is that I was talking about artists like Scarlord and City Morgue and people like that, the Ghostmain, the so-called trap metal artists and adjacent artists who at the time, it wasn't like brand new or anything like that, but especially this is like a year and a half ago or something like that, were putting up big numbers. And I was kind of wondering, is this going to be the future of metal, or has this thing sort of petered out? I thought it was a good video. I liked it quite a bit. One thing that I enjoy doing is talking about like current trends in music, and that's what I did in this video. I would say, like, of the last 5 years or something like that, 5-6 years, I would say like this trap metal stuff, especially City Morgue, probably my favorite stuff as far as like anything heavy or extreme goes. So I enjoy sharing new shit that I'm listening to and like just sort of exciting developments in music. But people did not like this one. The comments basically boiled down to like two categories. One was people were mad that I called this stuff metal. So they disliked it because apparently I called someone metal who's not metal. And I don't agree with that, because a lot of these are just like straight up metal. I mean, they're trap metal, but a lot of these artists have like guitars and screaming in it. And like, if people are screaming over guitars, like that's metal. I don't know what to say. The fact that there's like, 808s in it and stuff, to me doesn't make it less metal, especially because so much metal has programmed drums in it these days that I don't agree with that. So that was like number one. Yeah, the herder, no guitar, no metal, except a lot of this stuff does have guitars. So that's the part that like kind of doesn't really make sense to me. But regardless, I think that was what a lot of people didn't like about it. The other thing that people didn't like nobody said this, but I think one of the reasons that a lot of people didn't like it is because there's like a fair amount of black people in this subgenre. And, we know that there is a vocal element of metal fans that, they don't really like black people that much. I don't think that that's true of all metal fans by any means, or even most of them. But let's be real, there is definitely a segment of metal fans that doesn't like black people. And so I think that's probably part of it. Yeah, I didn't grow up with it, so it's bad. I think that that's basically what it comes down to. Looking back at this, I agree with Prince Somber. The trap metal video really showcased how narrow-minded metal fans are to the genre, incorporating different styles. I think that's right. Is it black people or is it rap/hip-hop hate? Well, I mean, that's kind of the same thing, right? A lot of the reason why some people don't like rap is because rap is, in their minds, synonymous with black people. So I think that's a big part of it. Obviously, if you don't like trap metal, that's totally fine. You're not obligated to like anything. But would I do anything differently in this video? I don't think I would. I think this was a well-done video that I'm proud of. There's a lot of people that told me they also liked this video and that they got into trap metal because of this. The only thing I would have maybe done differently is like I would have done this video a little bit earlier, just because, I had covered this stuff for a long time. But, a dedicated trap metal video, maybe I would have done it a little bit earlier. I don't know. But other than that, I think I did a good job with this video. I think there's nothing I could have done differently in here that would have made people like the video anymore. I think that, they're just not going to be into it. So 1,163 dislikes for a total of 13% dislikes versus a channel average of about 5% dislikes. So a little bit more than double the average number of dislikes, but I'm happy with it. I thought it was a good video. Next one that I did that people really didn't like was this one called The Problem with Indie Music. And this one has 1,873 dislikes for a total of 22%. So that's like maybe around 5 times more dislikes than usual. This one, I can understand sort of why people might get mad about it, because for a lot of people, the kind of music that they listen to is a big part of their identity. So if someone is an indie fan and I say that I don't like indie music and that I have a problem with it, then they maybe take that as a personal attack. Also, a big part of the reason that I was critical of indie music in this video was because I dislike indie culture. And so in that sense, I actually kind of was coming for the fans. So I guess it's fair if people are upset about that. I understand why people felt that way, and I think it's fair, but I wasn't really expecting it. Partly because, what I've realized since I made this video, this is from April of 2021, is there's a set of things on the internet that you are allowed to criticize and a set of things that basically you can't criticize without making people mad. And, indie is one of those things that, if you criticize it, people are going to get mad because that's in the category of things that people with quote unquote good taste like. And if you criticize it, people are going to come after you. And I was kind of surprised by that because, like it says in the chat, indie culture, rich white kids with homebrew coffee and ride bikes. I mean, that was basically my criticism of indie culture. The point of the video was like, I don't hate the music. I think it's okay, I guess. But I kind of dislike indie culture and those kind of people. I dislike hipsters. And to me, indie music is synonymous with those type of, of hipsters. I felt like it was okay to criticize those kind of people on the internet. I was surprised to find out that people were really upset about it. But they sure were. Lots and lots of angry people in the comments there. They hated that you held up a mirror to them. I think so too. But regardless, definitely not a popular video. In hindsight, I probably just wouldn't make this video because I don't enjoy trashing things. People think that I, get off on talking shit. I don't. I really don't. But the reason I made this is because people ask me about indie music so much. And every time I would say, I don't really like indie music. And they would always say, well, why don't you make a video about why you don't like indie music? And I was like, well, all right. So I did. And then people got really angry. And I just learned my lesson. And I was like, all right, maybe it's better. I'm just going to follow the old rule of if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. So in the future, I think I'm just not going to do stuff like this, So I felt like this was a fair video, but people really didn't like it. And I don't like making people that angry. So I just probably wouldn't do this kind of video in the future. Yeah, I agree with this. It doesn't matter what kind of jab you make, playful or not, whatever, someone's not going to take it right. Exactly. So that's why I just kind of stick to the facts now. Another one that was not popular, the sequel to my video about indie music. This is The Problem with quote unquote progressive music. This one came in at 2,070 dislikes, which is 24% dislikes, or roughly 5 times as many dislikes as normal. And the point of this video, I was kind of talking specifically about progressive metal, and maybe I could have put that in the title, although I don't think that would have made a difference. The point of this video was essentially to say that progressive metal actually isn't progressive anymore, or that progressive music in general actually isn't progressive anymore. Alternative title, Why Musical Masturbation is Not Cool. That was basically my point. It's not progressive to just play as many notes as possible. It's not progressive to copy. In fact, copying another band is sort of like the antithesis of progressive, right? If the idea of progressive is to move things forward and do things in an unexpected, unconventional way, then copying Dream Theater or Meshuggah or whoever, that did this sound 20 or 30 years ago, copying that is not progressive. It is the opposite of regressive. It's stale and conservative. That was my point in the video, which again, I was kind of surprised that people were upset about that, because I felt like that was a very, I don't know, sort of uncontroversial point, right? To suggest that copying whatever band is not progressive. Like, I didn't think anybody would disagree with that, but they sure did. One thing that I did find kind of funny is that a lot of the people that responded to it were like, oh, you don't know anything about prog. Well, I guess they didn't listen to the video, because I listed a bunch of like pretty obscure prog shit in there that I bet a lot of them don't know about. Like, I doubt that very many of the people who made response videos to this know who Bobby and Ron Jarzombek is, for example. I mean, I listened to like fucking Gentle Giant with my mom when I was 5. Like, I've been listening to prog for like literally my entire life, pretty much. It doesn't matter though. You know, what I realized is people are going to hear what they want to hear, especially when it comes to genres like this, where the fans are like, it's very much their identity. I don't think that I was mean in this video. Maybe I was, I don't know. You know, criticizing progressive metal in any way, I think was bound to make people mad. So I don't think there's anything I could have done differently. I think maybe this is another one of those videos that maybe I just shouldn't have made, because making videos like this, I think it really hurts my channel because it makes people dislike me. There's a lot of people that like hate me as a person because I criticized a band that they like. I don't want to piss people off. I don't want to make people dislike me. Like, that's just not, like, that's not enjoyable to me. So my sort of thought is like, I actually think this is a good video, and I won't say who, but quite a few people in like progressive metal bands that I know who are, you know, important bands of the scene were like, man, this is great. This is what I've been trying to tell people forever. So I stand by what I said in the video. I think it was a good video, but I think I just shouldn't make videos like this anymore. That's all. Do I play music? Yes, I play music, and I run a company that teaches people how to produce music. So I know much more about music production than almost everybody who watches my videos. Unless you're a professional producer, I almost certainly know more about music production than you do. So anyway, that was that one. Next one, coming in at 2,821 dislikes, 15% dislikes in total. My video about racism in metal from 2020 featuring Mike Seatown. I think this is a very good video. I knew this was going to be unpopular. Well, I don't know. I was kind of surprised by this one too, but also not. So basically, I just listed a bunch of, I just took screenshots of comments on my videos of all the different sort of racist shit that people say. As you can see, like, there's a lot of it. It's not a small amount of stuff. Now, some people would say, well, it's only a few people. Why are you pretending like this is a bigger deal than it is? Well, but there's hundreds of examples of it. How many examples do I need to find before you would agree that it is potentially an issue? That is my perspective on it. That's one thing that people didn't like, is they said that I was sort of blowing the problem out of proportion, which I don't agree with. A lot of people, of course, called me a, you know, woke SJW cuck, which is funny because people also call me a bootlicker. So, you know, either way, you can't win. But I mean, I'm glad I made this video. And I also had my friend Mike Seatown, who is someone I knew back in the 90s from the hardcore scene, because I wanted to get the perspective of somebody who was not white. Yeah, I mean, I'm glad I made this video. You know, if anything, I thought people were going to be mad at me for being a woke SJW cuck. But it was not, the reaction was not that. Like, I thought people would be like, oh, why are you pandering, you know, lib cuck, whatever. But it was not that. The negative reactions are for people who, I guess, must be racist or don't think that racism, yes, he was in Dawn of Orion, that's right. I figured some people might be upset about this, but I'm glad I made this video. I stand by everything I said in the video. And note that I specifically said racism in metal, not racism in punk or whatever, because, like, racism is not really a problem in punk or hardcore. Like, you might actually get killed for being racist at a hardcore show. Metal is a different story. So I stand by everything I said in this video. If people don't like it, I don't give a fuck. They should go watch somebody else's channel if they don't like it, because, you know, yeah, fuck those people. But yep, definitely not a popular video. Next up is this one. What Babymetal and Poppy reveal about metal fans, with 3,161 dislikes, 24%, so about 5 times as many dislikes as normal, and lots and lots and lots of angry comments. I've talked about this before, so I think You know, of course, I'm a fucking idiot. I should have known this, but it turns out that Babymetal fans are not nice people or not normal people. They're very, very, very... they did not like some of the things that I had to say about Babymetal. Like that, this is from 2020, by the way. I said that Babymetal's music was kind of not that good and that they were a gimmick band and people only like them because they're weeaboos. Everything I said in this video, I agree with. What I did not realize, of course, in hindsight, like this is incredibly stupid. I did not realize that Babymetal fans were so sensitive and angry. But of course, it makes perfect sense because they are the Venn diagram overlap of weeaboos and metal fans. So, you know, of course, of course they're like that. I didn't know that. This is another objective video that people can't handle without feeling attacked. Yeah. And of course, in hindsight, it should have been obvious. I actually thought this video was very fair. The one thing that people really didn't like is that I said Babymetal lip synced. They got really mad about that. And they were like, that's not true. Babymetal only lip synced at the very beginning. So it's like, oh, okay. You're mad because I said Babymetal lip syncs, but they used to lip sync, but you're mad about that, whatever. I don't know. I mean, even if I was wrong about that, which I wasn't, this is not something that you should like get angry about. Like if someone makes a minor factual error about a band you like, it's really not worth getting upset about. And I also wasn't wrong. They did used to lip sync. But yeah, they're literally industry plants, which is fine, but you know, whatever. They didn't like it. Again, like someone said in the chat, you know, nerds don't like when I hold up the mirror to them, I guess. And I'm okay if Babymetal fans don't like me. I've talked about them a few times, and every time I do, they get angry and they come for me, and I'm just like, well, you know, that's okay. Whatever. It doesn't bother me. Like, if Babymetal fans don't like me, then I'll survive. But yeah, that's that one. Next one, again, one that I was not expecting, but in hindsight, of course, is not a huge surprise, is Volume 8 of my Most Hated Artists series from January of 2021, in which I included Tom MacDonald as one of those artists. For anyone who's not familiar, Tom MacDonald is what I would call like a white grievance rapper. Like he has a song called White Boy and that sort of thing. And like a lot of his songs are about, you know, it's like anti-woke stuff, like anti-SJW stuff, where it's like, you know, everyone hates me because I'm a white boy type stuff. Essentially, the point that I was making in the video is that the reason why people don't like him is because he complains all the time. Like, nobody wants to hear a white guy complain about how hard it is to be white. I mean, it's just stupid. Unless you're in prison, I suppose. That's like the only time where I would say it's legitimate to say that, like, yeah, it's kind of hard being white, because it can be hard being white in prison. But other than that, you know, it's just like, shut up, man. Nobody cares. I was not really expecting his fans to come for me, I guess. I'm not surprised, but like the algorithm picked it up. So then his fans found it and became angry at me and told me I don't understand it and blah, 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 blah. And that's fine. You know, whatever. I stand by everything I said. Yeah, Steven Crowder Core. You know, and Steven Crowder is actually a good example, a good comparison to Tom MacDonald, because Steven Crowder is not stupid. He knows what he's doing. He knows he's pandering to his audience. He knows that he's kind of just giving them what they want to hear. He knows what he's doing. So does Tom MacDonald. I'm okay with that. If I want to be critical of something, I will be. And I'm fine with criticizing Tom MacDonald. And if his fans don't like me, that's okay. I'm not trying to please them. But yeah, definitely not a popular one. A lot of people said I don't understand Tom MacDonald and rah, rah, rah. And that's okay. They can think what they want. Yeah, he's literally on a wooden cross in the video. He has this like big, you know, like martyr complex where, you know, he thinks that he's some sort of persecuted victim, and he's just not, obviously. Yes, he's Canadian. It's great. I think he lives in LA, but yeah, he's Canadian, which I think is hilarious. So anyway, most of this is the embodiment of why are you booing me? I'm right. Well, I don't mean to come across as butthurt. It's not really like that, because if I was wrong about something, I would be happy to admit it. Anytime I make something that's unpopular, I always want to ask, like, could I have done something differently that would have presented this point in a less polarizing way? Is this something I really stand behind? Or is this just like not a hill I want to die on? Am I just going to avoid this topic in the future? For the most part, I would just say, you know, if I'm going to make people angry, I would just not make the video for the most part. Anyway, that was the number 2 video. And you guys will know the number 1 most disliked video I have ever made is this. My video, Why Do People Like Black Metal? With a total of 10,800 dislikes, 42% dislikes, which is like 10 times higher than normal. People really, really, really did not like this one. This is from way back in 2019, and it now has 550,000 views. So it's actually one of my more popular videos in terms of views, if not in terms of, you know, critical reception, let's put it. This one is interesting because I thought the video was pretty fair. You know, I made some jokes in it, but I think it was pretty fair. In fact, like probably, you know, 70% of what I said in the video was positive. I said a lot of good things about black metal. You know, I listed a lot of things that it did well and things that I respect about it. So I was kind of surprised. Basically, the point of the video was for me to say, I am not interested in black metal anymore because it's kind of creatively stagnant, because it's like conformity repackaged as edginess, right? Like the point of black metal was not to look and sound like this forever. The point of it was to like do challenging, edgy shit. So I felt like that was a pretty balanced, even-handed opinion that I would have guessed that, you know, even metal fans would have gotten on board with. But, you know, they pretty much ignored everything that I said in the video that was positive. The one thing that everyone latched onto is that I just like offhandedly said, you know, if you want to hear more about this, go read Lords of Chaos or something. And so everyone in the comments like, oh, I can't believe he recommended Lords of Chaos. It's like the only thing people commented on. And this video is 19 minutes long. Literally 2 seconds that I mentioned Lords of Chaos seemed to be the thing that people really disliked. Now, I think part of that, probably, you know, thinking about it now, probably a decent amount of that is because of the way that I look, right? Like, obviously I don't look like a black metal guy here, right? I got a bunch of punk flyers on the background. You know, I'm just wearing this Live Fit shirt. I have short hair. I'm wearing a hat. If I looked like them, maybe they would have been more receptive to this message. I don't know. But yeah, not a popular video. This is what everyone said. Oh yeah, Lords of Chaos is very inaccurate though. I see why people get pissed off. I'm not saying that the book is accurate, but how would you know what's accurate in the book and what's not? Everyone just sort of accepts like, oh, it's inaccurate. I can see why people get mad. But how would you know what's accurate or not in that book? Were you there? I wasn't. Who's to say what's not accurate about it? You know, everyone tells me how inaccurate the book is, and it totally may well be. The guy who wrote it seems crazy, so I totally accept that it might be inaccurate, but I feel like people are just sort of dogmatically accepting that the book is bad and it's full of inaccuracies without actually having any basis to say that, is what it sounds like to me. Would you ask the bands who are mentioned in the book? Look, if somebody who was mentioned in the book says, here's what's wrong with the book, then I would be inclined to trust them, or at least take like, all right, that might be true. But I always ask people, okay, what's wrong with the book? Tell me something that's inaccurate. And nobody can tell me anything. They're just like, oh, well, I just read on metalarchives.com that it was inaccurate. And people just sort of, you know, parrot that out. And anyway, the larger point is like, that was like literally 2 seconds of a 19-minute video that everyone gets hung up on, which I found kind of frustrating. But again, it's one of these lessons that I have learned over the years is, you know, there's some topics that are just not worth talking about. It's not worth putting a lot of my opinions into videos. Like, you know, black metal is just one of these topics that, like, in hindsight, I wouldn't have made a critical video about black metal because I just don't want to piss people off. It's not fun. It's annoying. This might be true too. A lot of times with books like that, people who are the subject of the book will bitch about it because it might be factually correct, but the narrative paints in the bad light. So they just bitch and say it's not true. And maybe it's not true. I don't know. Like, I literally don't know. But either way, you know, on hindsight, I probably wouldn't have made this video just because I really don't like making people angry. It's unpleasant. I stand by everything I said in the video. Like, I don't think anything I said is wrong. I agree with all of it. But I don't enjoy pissing people off like that. But on the other hand, you know, it's you know, almost 600,000 views. Let's see how many subscribers I got from this. I got 2,400 subscribers from this video, so I'd say that's pretty good. 98.6% male. 1.4% female viewers. I wonder how many of the female viewers just clicked on it by mistake or like, oh God, what is black metal? Why would I watch this? I don't know. But yeah, that's it. So that's my number one most disliked video. There you have it. Those are my most disliked videos as counted by the number of dislikes on my main channel. There's a whole other set of videos I've made on my second channel that piss people off because they don't like my jokes. The second channel videos that piss people off, those are the ones where I really just roll my eyes because it's like, they're jokes. Like, how could you possibly get mad at me for calling Glenn Danzig short or whatever? Like that, I don't get that. But yeah, there we have it. My most disliked videos, as expected. Most of them involve metal. No surprise there. No surprise there. And then people wonder why I say the things I do about metal fans. Well, it's because of all the nasty shit they say to me and about me. That is why. So there it is. And thank you to everyone who has liked one of my videos. I appreciate it.